Hey,
Hey there. That geode is just
can
as
you
big as you are. Can you
can you
hear me?
hear me okay?
Oh yeah, I can hear you fine. So I'm
Okay, good. And my internet has been so sucky lately, so I'm sorry about it.
it's
Nothing I can do.
it's a little blurry, but that's fine. We will do what we can. Hi Eric, how are you? I love you.
We'll do what we. He's going like this with his hands. He says, "I love you, Mom. I'm glad to see you're feeling better. Hopefully, a little bit
Yeah,
better."
slowly but surely. I have been sick as a dog for some reason. I think I have a sinus infection or something. I don't know. But anyway, we will see. All right, so I want to talk about energetic cleansing. There are all sorts of techniques. You know, our energy gets all dirty and nasty, and just gotta do what I do to my grout and my tile. Get on my hands and knees and just scrub our souls. But anyway, let me see. This blog member specifically writes, what things have a detrimental effect on our energy? Is it just negative thoughts and emotions, or do other factors such as food, lack of sleep, Wi-Fi, technology, chemtrails, and other environmental factors also have an effect? I like that question. That's good.
He goes, he goes, ooh, and he like does this shimmy. And when he shakes, it's like all this dark energy falls off. Like he's like
Ah,
shaking off all the dark energy and purifies himself. But he goes, Mom, he's like counting with his fingers like this. He says there's a lot that goes into who you are collectively and like the sum of you and like
oh,
energetically what makes you you. But the number one thing, Mom, he says, that's on the top of the list that determines your energy, its lightness and brightness, he says, or
mhm.
not, is where you focus your consciousness, where you see the world from. If you had, this is just an example, he says, if you had the experience and now you put your consciousness in that shitty experience and you see the whole world from that point of view, it's all going to reflect that shitty experience back to you, that same thing. So if you plant your consciousness there, because he says, think about it, that shitty experience has negative thoughts, negative feelings, and emotions
Yes.
all associated with it. That's where you're going to root yourself and manifest all kinds of feelings and experiences
Okay.
from that point of view, from that place of consciousness. He says, foods, yes. He says foods definitely affect you energetically, but not like the way, where we put our focus or where we plant our consciousness. He's showing it being like a seed. Like I'm going to drop it right here and see what happens. And right here, if that's, I'm only going to look up. I'm only going to see the good. I'm not even going to turn and face the negative and the bad, because as soon as I do, he says, as soon as I respond, then the universe kind of feeds me the same. So he's just kind of rambling, but he's showing a lot goes into our energy, how we feel, and there's a lot of ways we can clean that shit up or clean
But
that shit out. He
before we
says,
get to, before we get to that, let's go back to the foods. What sort of foods are we talking about? Like processed foods, refined sugars, things like that, that are kind of bad for your energy, or get it all dirty, down and dirty.
he says, yeah, dirty. He says your body can process and use foods better that have a higher vibration. Like he's even showing like meat. Meat is its own category, he says, is its own thing. Meat, and of course, yes, he says it depends on the processing that it goes through, the chemicals that are in it.
Yeah.
Um, ooh, he's given a lot of gross examples. So we'll get to that in just a second. But he's showing like meat is its own thing, he says, and meat has a whole different vibration. He's showing it being like a lower vibration.
Hmm.
So when we ingest it, it affects us in that way
I love a
to
big
a
fat
degree.
steak.
There's so much.
I love a big fat steak. Go on.
I love a big fat burger.
Mmm.
He says there's so much that goes into it. So it's not just eating it, but it's your thoughts about it and how you reflect on that too.
Oh.
But it's a whole process, Mom, he says. So if you can keep your thoughts positive, or at least in a higher vibrational frequency
Mm-hmm.
about this food, about how this food affects you. It's like blessing your food, Mom. He says, when you bless it, then you eat it, and you keep your intentions high and pure with it, then you alter the way it affects you, or you set parameters as to like what you accept from it. Like,
And
for example, if you have this burger here, this is Eric, he's so funny. He goes, if you have this burger here versus this burger here, and this one is exactly the same as this one, he says, but you eat this one and you say to yourself, I'm grateful it nourishes my body, it brings me energy, blah, blah, blah. Then this one you go, oh, this is going to make me fat, it's going to make me feel like shit, but I'm going to eat it anyway. He says, you're determining what you accept from it and how it affects you. So it's up here too. This is why it's a process. There's many dynamics to it as far as what we're eating. But nowadays, he says, it's hard to find clean, pure foods, stuff that actually doesn't have traces of chemicals or over-processed shit, he says, in our food. Foods in itself, he says, can be changed energetically based on if you can actually figure out how to transfer energy, you can change the energy of your food. But what's most important is how you talk to your body in regards to how it's going to respond to that food. Stay clean, stay hydrated. When he's looking at the diet, he says stay clean and stay hydrated. The cleaner you eat, the higher vibration you're going to maintain. If you don't know how to be mindful with it and change your foods energetically. So if you're not quite there yet, then at least eat cleaner, eat higher vibrationally, healthier. Duh, he says.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it's important also how the meat, the meat from the animal, or the animal that provides the meat, needs to be raised and slaughtered humanely. And again, like you say,
Right.
express gratitude. That should raise the vibration, right?
Right, and that's what he was showing too a minute ago when I said, and he's even showing like, when he was showing meat like being its own thing, and there's different things that go into that. He's showing like what if the meat you just ate was from a cow that was just treated for an infection? He says, like, then you just ingested the medicines that the cow had to have.
Yeah. Gosh.
And, like, there's this whole process. What if it had steroids? What if it had antibiotics in its system? Because it happens every day, Mom.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
So that's one element. He's like, see, this is where I can totally own my ignorance. I don't know what movie this is from, but I know it's like some famous line from something, because he goes, but wait, there's more.
Oh yeah, that's like commercials on things. But wait, there's more. We'll double the offer for separate shipping and handling.
He's like, but wait, there's more. So it's not just like what has the animal been exposed to in that respect, as far as like medicine and environmentally, but emotionally. What if it was treated inhumanely? It has those, animals have feelings, and they have sentient understanding and communication. So if they're slaughtered humanely, respectfully, that energy carries, Mom. He's showing it being like a transaction, like an exchange. He says, if the slaughterhouse or whoever's working, to take the animal, ship the animal, and everybody a part of that process, if they're frustrated, if they're angry, if they're, not appreciative, all of that energy is a part of that process.
Yeah.
So it's really important, not just that you bless your food, but that you set the intentions with it. Now he's just kind of rambling. He's like, but if you can hold yourself in this high frequency of this is what I'll experience and how I will experience it all across the board, whether it's through food or people or whatnot, then you don't have to get so worried about like praying over your food every time you eat. So it's kind of like you set those parameters out there, and you only need to do it once if you believe in your own self like saying, for example, I believe and I accept that everything I eat will be in my highest good.
Mm.
Um, you can recite that as many times as you want to, but it only takes one time for it to be alive and effective.
Good. I like that.
Um, because he's like, because then you have people that go, well, what if I forget? What if I forget to pray over my food? Or what if I forget to set my intentions before I eat? He's like, you don't have to get all worried about it. He's like, just set it out there once, and energetically, it's there. It's immortal.
Well,
So
can we cleanse the food, the energy of the food on our plate?
yeah, he says that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
He says you
that's doing
can.
that. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you talked about eating clean. Can you talk more about that? What is that? What kind of foods are we talking about?
Foods, he says, foods that work like in conjunction with or like in sync with your body, not foods that work against your body.
Okay.
Sugar. He has such a smart aleck tone right now. He's like, duh. But he's not doing that to you. He's like telling people like to think common sense. Like,
Sure.
you know what's good for you, you know what's not good for you. Sugar
Yeah.
causes a lot of damage.
Yeah.
He says caffeine causes a lot of damage. These are things that
But
work
I love
against the body.
it.
I know. And he's like, so when you look at the things that work for your body, um, he says if you can begin to treat foods like almost like a medicine, and only ingest it if you know it's going to help you,
Ah.
you can change your whole experience with food and how it affects you energetically. So clean eating would be like, just healthier foods, mom,
Yeah.
organic foods
Yeah.
that work with your body. When we
Okay.
look at, he goes, my favorites like cake and potato chips and
Yeah. Right.
pizza, like these things that are really heavy, the energy is going, okay, the energy is going to reflect the same. I want to share something. He wants me to share this just real quick. Um, I battled with this for the longest time, and I've probably shared this before. I used to fast before I would do my sessions. Sometimes I'd fast all day long and not eat all
Ugh.
day till I was done doing my sessions. And I started to play with it, and I was asking for all kinds of guidance. Um, I would have stellar sessions after fasting, and then I would like inhale a bunch of tacos and then still have stellar sessions.
Mm.
And I realized like if I hold my energy in a certain frequency, or even if I put my trust in spirit and not in just my physical body, then it didn't matter as much. So I let go of the whole thought of like I need to fast before I channeled it to be a clean, pure conduit.
What does that
And I just
sound?
put
Is that a phone?
it,
What?
yes,
Oh, okay. Okay.
someone's
Sorry.
calling.
Okay.
But, um, so I began to really just energetically let go of Kim and how food affects Kim,
Ah.
because Kim's not a part of the process anyway.
Mm.
It's all about spirit and just connecting with them and translating verbatim what they share. So I was focusing too much on food and how it affected me in this process, forgetting that I need to let go of me completely in this process to be a clean conduit
Okay.
anyway. So he just wanted me to share that for whatever it's worth.
Okay.
Um,
That's cool.
but
That makes total sense.
he's,
What
he's
other?
like, just use your common sense too about
Okay.
healthy foods and staying hydrated, mom. That's probably even more important than food.
Oh, I'm so bad
The better
about that.
hydrated you are
Yeah.
energetically, the better you're going to feel.
Okay. Because water is grounding. So, what other factors can dirty up your energy?
He says, like, okay, he says mindfulness, presence, but not in the way you're thinking. He says he wants to talk about like if we like he says, let's say you go out to dinner
Mm-hmm.
and you're feeling great and you're all excited and you go out to dinner and then all of a sudden you come home and you're like down for some reason. You have no reason to be down, but you just feel kind of empty. He says, well, be mindful of that, be aware of that situation, and be willing to ask yourself, is this mine? Or did I clairsentiently or sentiently, feel and absorb something from someone else in that environment?
Mm.
Maybe it was someone not even at your own table, but they were
Yeah.
in such a funk that their biofield, when people get um, big, he says, in a space energetically. They can project it and emanate it like crazy. And if you're not mindful, if you're not present, he says, you can absorb it.
Yeah.
That's what happens, he says, like 90% of the time with people. They react constantly, but they're not sure what they're reacting to. He says, and then this happens. He says, he's just laughing at the human thought process. But he says, and then this happens, and we start to think and overthink, why do I feel this way? Do I have something wrong with me? And of course we react, we engage the emotions, and then we get dirty. He says, like energetically dirty. So you have to be able to be present with what you're feeling and ask yourself, is this mine? And if you can say yes, figure out where it's coming from. If it's not, then release it. Stop reacting to it. He says, Mom, it can be so hard. It's hidden for a lot of people. They feel something and they react and they react. And it's hard for people to step outside of that and go, oh, wait, I see I'm doing this and I'm reacting like that, and I can change it. He says most people don't know that power yet.
But they do now. But you can just say, is this mine or is this somebody else's? Well, what about the other things like the technology, like Wi-Fi or electromagnetic waves and chemtrails?
He says, oh yeah, let's talk about electromagnetic waves for a minute. He says, you got the high and the low and everything in between. Yeah. He says it can affect both ways too. It can be overstimulating, or it can be, it can drag you down. It can make you feel like shit. He says, because think about it like this, Mom. We are all, he says, I want you to picture this for a minute. This is going to sound funny. Think about it like this. We're all radios. We're all receiving signals, but might not be aware of it. Sometimes we're receiving subjectively, sometimes it's objectively. But he says we're receiving and we're feeling all of those signals. We just might not be conscious and consciously aware of it. So for example, he says, let's say, okay, this is like blowing my mind right now because I never thought about this. He's showing two people fighting, two friends, like having a total blowout, total fallout. He says, and like, let's say you text him and he's like, you're a piece of shit, da 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 da, and you're just pissed off. You're just in the moment reacting, and you send that out, right? That negative energy. Well, let's say little Miss Susie over here, he says, is also angry for a whole different reason, but she's still in that same frequency. She's going to feel the same effects of whatever's floating out there in the same frequency. So wherever you put yourself on that scale, you're going to receive everything else that's happening in that frequency. So it may not pertain to you, it might not be yours, might not be from you or to you, but it's in the same field. It's in the same frequency, so you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
So same goes for, I mean, like he's talking so fast. He's like, you go to bed at night, so many people can't put their phone away, can't put their computers down, shut it all down, their TV's off, and energetically so much is being exchanged.
Oh God, yeah.
The energy of a TV commercial or a TV show, and you're falling asleep with your TV on, all of that is, just because it's in your TV doesn't mean it stops at the screen, he says.
Yeah.
It projects into your space. I mean, there's no limit. There's no time and space energetically. Like energy isn't confined at all to space.
Okay.
So be very mindful of what you're exposing yourself to, he says. And if you want good, you have to put yourself energetically in that frequency to receive more of it. So the universe is just going to give you, it's already there. It's just you're plugging into it. The universe is going to give you.
You're the radio tuning in. You're the radio tuning into.
Exactly.
So tune into the right frequencies. What about chemtrails?
He says tune into your favorite station.
Here we go.
But chemtrails, let's see. I'm just going to ask him, like, he says, of course they affect you, but I'm asking him, like, how do they affect us and what do they change? He says, for some reason, he's like saying that you know about this. Like, I don't know if you've seen this with someone, but he's showing chemtrails affecting people emotionally and behaviorally, like people being, but it seems like, this is what he says, sad and unfair, because people are reacting, but they're not sure what to. And he's showing the most common way you're going to see people reacting is their emotions going like this, like up and down, and their behavior. So, like, one minute they're happy, the next minute they're pissed off. He says these chemtrails are affecting people in ways that they're not aware of, but they are aware of their behavioral patterns changing. He says, and you've already seen a lot of people going, I don't know, I did that. That's so not like me, but I did, and now I have to deal with it. So it's like pushing people outside of who they are, or they're reacting. And then that too, of course, again, here we go again. He says we get caught up in the thought process and then the emotional reactions to, why did I do that? He says.
Yeah.
And then when we separate, okay, sorry, he's like talking so much.
Erik!
He says, and then when we separate all of that completely, we look at and we go, then it triggers that question all the time. He says, hanging out, like, okay, what was my purpose in that? Or my worth? And he wants to share this for some reason. I don't know if it has anything to do with anything, but he says, oh, he just corrected me. He didn't like that comment. He says, of course it does, because if you know your worth, your vibration is always here.
Yeah.
But if your worth and knowing your worth depends on a sense of purpose, you're always like this, always bouncing back and forth. He says, your worth and knowing it is not born in your purpose. He says, if you find purpose in something, believe in it, trust it.
Okay.
But it has nothing to do with your worth. Your worth is always already spoken for. It's already. So when you have all of these different things that affect who you are and how you are, don't let it affect your worth. Don't let your worth go like this. Your purpose might, and that's okay. That's why we're human. It's supposed to. He says, you can find purpose in digging a hole in your yard for no damn reason at all, he says. But if you find purpose in it, then it means something to you. There's value there.
Okay.
But it has nothing to do with worth.
Okay.
And then it's just showing, like, when you stay aligned with your worth, Mom, and that completely, doesn't matter what you eat, doesn't matter who you hang around and what shit they're going through.
Wow.
Then when you stay aligned completely with your worth, it's kind of like you become more, he's showing, like, transparent to all of those things. They could come in your field and pass right out your field without you having to catch it and go, oh, wait, now what's this in my awareness?
You're like dirty energy Teflon. Maybe.
Right.
Okay, before I want to talk about some different techniques. Maybe you can share a couple of techniques of how we can cleanse our energy. But before we do that, are there any other important factors that we haven't addressed that can dirty up your energy?
He says, well, it's a choice, Mom. You can let anything dirty up your energy or even just disturb it. And disturb, he says, don't take just the word disturb as like a negative connotation, but anything can disturb your energy if you give it permission to, if you give it power to.
Okay.
So you can have a shitty experience, but it can still give you light and not dark.
Okay.
It just depends on how you react to it or how you associate your idea with it.
Yeah, you can see a shitty experience and get value out of it. Just kind of glean the lesson and the value and be appreciative for it. So I can understand that. So let's talk about your favorite technique for energy clearing. I know that cleansing. Jamie Butler shared one where you have this like sieve that you just start from your head, and it just, you take it all the way down to your feet, and it gets all your bad energy out, and then you have to take that black energy and put it in the earth because the earth recycles it. Or you can envision yourself in the shower just washing it all, and it goes down the drain. Or another one she said was important is, we spend so much time in bed, you need to clean your bed of energy, just kind of rake it rake it off your bed and
Yeah.
into the magnolia
Yeah.
or the azaleas.
He's showing He's showing kind of the same thing. He's showing like a shower technique though. Like imagine like this cleansing water just pouring down over you and washing away anything that you're holding on to. But he wants to take that a step further. So we will in just a second. He says, but imagine anything you're holding on to, like it just being washed off. And as you wash, he says, imagine it just melting away as easily as like dirt off your skin. So whatever you're holding on to that you know is causing a disturbance, watch it, let it wash away just like dirt off your skin. It's that easy. And then when he said take it one step further, what he's trying to show is, for example, I'll use myself as an example because he does this all the time. As an Army wife, this whole situation with my husband being overseas, it could turn me into like this real shitty, bitter person, I guess, he says. And then, of course, so not just would you want to wash that away and not be bitter, but everybody that bitterness would affect, wash that away too, because it's an exchange. It's a part of you. So let's say, for example, I'm sour and I'm bitter, and then in turn it's made me a bitter mom or a bitter sister or a bitter daughter. So now look at all of those like spots and watch them wash away. Like, have you been bitter with your mom? Like, look at all the places where you're connected, and whatever you're trying to wash away, wash all of it.
Just a big old group shower. Big old group shower. Save water. Shower together.
He's like all the little nooks and crannies, and he's showing like all these connections, all the people that you might have exchanged that energy with that you're trying to wash away.
What a great idea.
Imagine it all.
That's a great idea.
So he says when you look at, like I got this thing I've been holding on to forever, like let's say this divorce, and you've let it also affect your relationship with your sibling. Divorce is long gone over, so you're trying to wash it away, but also wash away the way that energy is affecting your relationship with your sibling. So be able to apply that and look at how that energy, because it can remanifest, Mom. He says if you don't wash it all away, it can cause more infection.
It's like mold, sprout up again. Okay. Is any other technique you want to share?
He says, I want to give people like a hands-on. So of course you can literally go take a shower and imagine and go through that envisioning process. But he's even showing, like, he says, Mom, it's as simple as drinking water. Let's say you fill up your jug and you say, this is my cleansing jug of water. And every time you take a drink, you dissolve or you dilute the energy that's disturbing you. So you keep drinking and you keep drinking until it's gone completely. So it's an easy hands-on thing that you can do.
Like
and that's
flush
what
it
people
out.
need. That's what they want.
Are you talking about actually drinking water?
Yep.
Oh, okay. And just let it flush it out. Okay.
Water.
All right. So hydration is good. Now, as a routine, how often should we energetically cleanse ourselves? And I'm sure part of it is anytime you have an argument or have some sort of negative situation or whatever. I mean, that's obvious. But should we do it on a daily basis? If our life is all roses and rainbows, should we still do it like on a daily basis? Or twice a day? Or
He says it doesn't necessarily have to be like on a daily basis, but he says, think about it like this, Mom. He says, let's say you have this thing that keeps coming up in your consciousness, and it's a disturbance. Like maybe you're procrastinating something and you keep thinking about it, and you're like, oh crap, I gotta get that done. Or, oh man, that shitty divorce. Or, however frequently it's coming up in your consciousness is how frequently you need to be cleansing that energy.
Okay.
If it is multiple times a day, then you need to counterbalance that or counteract that energy just as much.
Okay.
So he's showing, like, it's not like it's like once a day is just across the board for everybody. Whatever is disturbing you energetically, and however big that disturbance is, the cleansing efforts need to match it.
Okay.
He says, however it is in your consciousness. So he says, once a day is great if people can remember that. He says, but don't get hung up on it when you go to bed and you're like, oh crap, I forgot to do my ritual. He's
But
like,
probably should
it's not a big deal.
clean the sheets every once in a while. Maybe.
He goes, every once in a while.
Every once in a while. All right, now here's one last question. In what, if any, situations do we need to seek help from a professional, like a shaman or a Reiki practitioner, to cleanse our energy?
He says, there's a couple scenarios, Mom. He said it like scenarios.
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 Being all hoity-toity.
But he says, if you know there's a disturbance, but you don't know what it is, and you just feel like, I'm just not myself. I just don't feel like myself, or I just feel off. When you feel like you're in that state, or you've heard yourself say this, or you feel numb, and you can't pinpoint what it is, you should go seek a shaman or seek help from someone that can clear that energy, help you cleanse. Or maybe you do know what it is, but you feel powerless to it. So again, the example of a divorce, you feel like you completely lost your sense of self in it, you lost your self-worth, and you feel powerless. You may not be able to like conjure up the energy to cleanse it or to release it and let go.
Sure.
When you feel like you've lost your power because of something, or your personal power because of something, that's also when you should go seek help from someone else. Okay. Two, he says, if you see it being, you've tried all kinds of things and you see a pattern and it just keeps, like these patterns keep happening and the same energy keeps manifesting, you know, maybe it's crappy, like how come I always pick the crappy partner and I can't find a good lifelong partner? You need to go cleanse, you know, seek the help of a professional, someone that can have that objective look into your life, he says, and be able to help you see things that you might not see, or see things that you might subconsciously be avoiding seeing.
Okay.
So
that's interesting. All right, well, that sounds good. Hey, listen, Christina, my daughter, sent me a communication she had from a friend that was a screenshot of Julie Montague, who is the wife of the Earl of Sandwich, like nobility, quoting you, Erik. She was quoting a great quote about, you know, how you need to work on your relationship with yourself in order to have a better relationship with life, etc. So, so she must be one of your fans. You have a message for her?
he's like doing this weird dance. He's going like this. He's like going like this. His ribs, I can feel his ribs like, oh, he's funny. He's Erik is so animated. He must have been like that in his physical life,
too.
Yeah,
he was. Very.
But he says, when you say, do you have a message for her? He says to tell her, and he has like, Erik's voice is echoing as he says this. So that's his way of putting emphasis on something. So he says to tell her, like, that which speaks to her, whether it's through my voice or anybody else's voice, like that which speaks to her is reflecting to her what she's sharing with others. So I don't know who this person is, but it seems like this person has some sort of platform to share with other people, because he's showing her sharing like in a big way or with a lot of people. So he says, like, whatever she's connecting to or whatever resonates with her is her way of channeling the universe. Okay, and this goes for everybody listening too. He says, whatever resonates with you, you're channeling, you're listening, and the universe is giving it to you and responding to you and what you need. So when something clicks, when it resonates, listen to it, because see yourself as a channel, especially her. He says that she's going to share with a lot of people. So okay. He says, but whether it's my voice or anybody else's, it seems like she's very intuitive. Like she's very heart-centered, heart-focused. Her energy's all at the heart. So it seems like she's going to share anyway.
Okay.
Awesome. So he's just saying thank you. Saying thank you to her.
That's sweet. Okay, well, we will wrap it up now, and next we're going to, next session, we're going to talk about energy protection. I love you, Erik, and you guys, I will put Kim's information on this YouTube. Kim, you want to share anything before we close? Tell us about your new book.
Yeah, finally, it's out. It's been such a process. So my book, titled Inside Out, is finally out and available on Amazon. And it's just a look at the emotions and the thought process and how you guys can master all of those to achieve a constant inner peace, no matter what you're going through.
Journey to
I hope
inner
it helps.
peace. I mean, what more can you ask? What more can you ask for? Inner peace. That's what everybody wants. Love and inner peace. So congratulations.
Right. You can find it, thank you. You can find it on my website too at kimbabcock.net. So take a look and let me know what you guys think. I hope it helps.
Sounds good. Thank you, Kim, and thank you, Eric. I love you. See you in a little bit.
He says, I love you, Mom. Blowing kisses.
Bye.
Prepárate.